Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Commodities Report, and here we're looking at a crypto index. So it's the top 10 here, and very much the same. Well, obviously this is dominated by Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I mean, essentially we're looking for an ABC correction here. So the A wave here, the B wave up here, and then the C wave down here. So in this instance here, it fits quite nicely in this trend line channel here and touched quite nicely at this sort of low area here. And from wave B down to wave C here, I can establish 5 waves here. It's a little bit tricky to see in here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this wave 1 here, and wave 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now there is a bit of an overlap here, I get it, and then wave 4 here, and then wave 5 here. So there's a good case that that wave 4 low could be in place. Now we know that Germany has put in, I don't know the total figure at this point, but $950 million worth of BTC into the market. And then, of course, we've got the distribution of Mt. Gox as well there as well. So I don't know how that's actually distributed into the marketplace. So everything said and done, it is possible for this to be a low in place here when I look at this crypto index. When I look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, we could consider a low being in place here, but there is also space for us to have one more low in place here as well. So with Bitcoin here, we've got the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave down here. Now in this instance here, I just want to talk about this a little bit. So of course I could put wave 4 here, just as I've done with the crypto index, and I understand that, but I do not have enough evidence to call a low in here as just yet, because in Elliott wave terms, this move up here can be part of an impulse wave or it can be corrective. So there's no way of knowing at this particular stage. And in this instance here, if I look at this here as a little 1 and 2 in here and 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2 here, then I can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, and an ABC for the fourth wave. One of the interesting things here is that if I take this wave 2 here, just roughly speaking, doesn't have to be perfect at this point, and put this here. So normally a wave 4 would be 38.2%. So the 38.2% here comes in very close at the 60,000. So we could say to ourselves, okay, we could allow the market to go to 60,000, and then if it was going to be a wave 4, well then it would drop from that point and we would have a move lower at that point, you know. So we could expect some move from up here to come down and give us one more low in place at this point. Now, if we are going to consider a low being in place here, then it would only be fair to say that the market would need to find support on top of the 60,000, which is the 38.2% here. Now, for it to do that at the 38.2% and the 60,000, it's going to take a little while to be able to migrate from being resistance to support in that space. So what we could do here is we could view this here as an A wave, a B wave here, and then 1 and 2 here. And it's not the best 5 waves up here, I grant that at the moment. And we could look at this as a WXY up here as well. But if I'll just take it as 1 and 2, and then look at wave 3 to move up here, and wave 4 and wave 5 here, and then we'll either be coming down from that point, or we'll end up, these tops here will eventually, their resistance at the moment, eventually they'll become supporting platform up here on the 58 here, the top of minor group 2. So, well, minor group 2, if we can just for the trading levels, people will be 56.50 in here. I'll just let it, whoops a daisy, and the 72 in here as well. So 57,200 there, and that would need to let's just get this a little bit in here, a little bit more accurate here. 56,500 and this one here. So this group 2 here, the reason I'm just spending a little bit of time on it is this will become the support. If this becomes the resistance, if the 56,500 at any stage becomes the retested resistance, then if this was the 56,500, if that becomes the resistance by taking out a low after the retest, then you know that it's going further down at that point. Now this move that comes here can also come back above the level here as well. Not so much this one, that's the bullish count. This one here where it can come back above the level and then eventually come down. So it could do two things at this particular point in time. So now you know that if that 56,500 becomes the retested resistance here, then you know that we're going to come down closer to the 50,000 at that point. So that's one thing. And then the other thing we know is that if we get support on top of the 60,000, which will look like this here, so we'll come up to the 60,000 and hit it, drop back, and then create the first high above the level. That doesn't mean support at this stage. So and then it'll needs to pull back, and we can go long above that high, we can go long above that high, and we can bring it down to here. So this will be where our long trade is coming from. So I'm not saying that this is going to deliver a long trade, but this is how we would go about distinguishing a long trade at this point. This is how we would recognize it. So there's a lot more to go over here yet. So the 56,500 and a classic trading levels pattern on the 60,000 would send us to the upside. So that's about the best practical way of explaining it at this point. And Ethereum would be the same as well. We can look at Ethereum with a low in place, so we can go through the A, the B up here, and the C wave down here. Now it also hasn't, it's kind of, it's down here enough to be a C wave, but at the same time, we could use this as a wave 4 here. The 38.2% retracement level from here to here is about where it is at the moment. But there could be, and I would expect one more little push up here to give us a little wave 5 up here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and struggling and so on at that point, and then coming down at this point. So we'll see. Now this would have to climb up, if you know the trading levels of the 3,000 here, 1, 2, and 3. It would have to climb up, at least get support on the 3,200 at that point, okay, to get a nice classic trading levels pattern on that 3-2 at that point. So we're still looking to the downside at this stage until proven otherwise. So there's the good, the bad, and the ugly of that. Now we're going to look at the dollar bonds and yields, and then over to precious metals and base metals. Base metals and currents, base metals and energy. I'm going to look at Samni's work on our website. So we've got the bonds here. We know that with the bonds here that we've got, it's a 2-hour chart here. So this move up from the low down here, this move here is corrective. So we've been expecting it to move up here, and we've been viewing it in a few different ways. And in this instance here, we were looking for wave 1 and wave 2 to pull back to the 61.8%. So that's kind of on the cards at the moment. This also looks a little bit impulsive here. So this is probably a little wave 1 and 2 here, and then we'll have a little 3 and 4 coming in across the top, and a 5 here, and then an ABC back again, and then pushing up at that point. So if the bonds are going to go in this direction here, then we can look at the yields going in the opposite direction at this point. So as long as the yields stay on the 90 here, then we'll be bullish to the upside. There's a good case for being bullish because this particular pattern down here counts quite nicely as a corrective pattern, so we should be taking that top out there. In terms of the yields, should be doing the mirror opposite to this here, so if you can get your head around that. So from the top here, we're looking down at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Bit of a tough nut to get your head around. And then over the last wee while, we're looking for a rally to come back up into this little box here. So we've got that, and we've got a drop here now as well. So we could look at this here at this stage as well. I don't know if that's finished yet. I'd have to sort of pull that apart. Just haven't had the time. But basically, we're looking for 1 and 2, another rally here, and then down here as the bonds move up, we'll see this move down here. Now, you would expect the US dollar to follow this pathway to the downside, but they have been out of sync a little bit lately, so we need to be open-minded and, correlations are good, like trend lines are good, anything is good while they're useful, but, to understand their usefulness is important. So when we look at the dollar, we could look at it like this, coming to the downside here. This would be the bearish count, so the bearish count is basically, I don't know if I want to go into the bigger picture just yet, but wave 2 up here, then wave 1 and wave 2 here, and then coming down in this way here. So this will be the same as the yield here. Now here I can see that we've got 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case here, we may have another little move down here before we get some sort of ABC back up to this point, and then down again. Now this is not 5 waves down here so far, so we can go an A and a B and a C wave here. So we don't have 5. If we had 5 waves here, then I could say we're going to get another 5 over here. We don't have that just yet, and this move up here can be counted as 5 waves to the upside as well. So we're looking at it in both ways. The 105 here on the Dixie is the sort of central balance line through these through this market at this stage. So we've got this high and this low and this high and this low. So we'll just see how it sort of continues to run along this line, and we'll just simply see if we'll simply be able to see in due course if it's going to accept this and find support, or reject it and drop lower at this point. So we're just still working through that. The bullish side to this, of course, is well, I thought I had it on this one. Let me just check here. Obviously, this is just on a daily. Maybe I've done something wrong here. Okay, it doesn't really matter. We'll just sort this out here. It's a bit. This is the bullish side, where we have this down here as the A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave up here. I've also talked about this being this B wave up here. Also talked about being wave 1 and wave 2 at this point, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And in the bullish side here, we could look at this as the A and the B, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. So as I mentioned, I thought that I'd had this somewhere on the bullish side. Have I got it on here? It is on the bullish side there. Let me just check here. I thought I might have had it somewhere here. Okay, this is it here. So this is just a little bit of a closer view in here. So in this instance here, we'll look at this as 1 and 2 here. And then this is going in the opposite direction of the yield. So I'm just looking at both sides at this stage. I don't have a direction for it. I know that the Aussie dollar was pushing up, and we talked about that, and the bonds, the cable and the euro dollar and all of that, moving to the upside as well. And that's all playing out, and we could just look at this here as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and 5 here. So we're going to get that. We're going to probably get this, whoops-a-daisy, here, and another one up there, because we've got this as 1. Could include that into the triangle, couldn't we? So it could just top at this point and then come down at this stage too. Anyway, I'll do some work on this, but I was expecting it to pop, and I am actually longing this myself, but just as a currency hedge against other stuff, because I've got all sorts of other currencies floating around. So anyway, that's, so we're seeing that rally there. Yeah, I mean, is it possible to put wave 2 over to here and look at this as the A, the B, and the C wave down here? That's also a possibility as well. So we could end up sort of having this down here as a C wave here, and then a move to the upside. That would also be suitable in line with the Australian dollar, the euro dollar, and the cable as well. So there's still a fair bit to work through all of this at this stage, and it's not that really helpful with gold and so on. So we'll go over to gold now, and we're looking at, I thought I had this on the daily first. Let's just have a little look here, just to get a bigger picture. It's still shining through, isn't it? So this is GDX here, basically. So we've got wave 3 here and wave 4 here, and we can just use this here if that's okay. I need to make these lines a bit sort of, where are we, minor levels here. We'll just dull that out a bit further, put them in the background. That's a bit better. And I'll make them dotty. Make them dotty. I was already on dot. They look like dashes, but anyway, I won't go into all that. So basically what we've got here for this market, these are all just minor levels within stuff, trading levels. So we've got 1 and 2 here, then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for the third wave, the fourth wave and the fifth wave. So you can just imagine coming into the top here that we're going to be pulled back here. So we've got a little further to go in all this. I don't know how this little wave 4 here is probably finished, but we're seeing lower volume in the correction, so that's good. It may get even a bit more complicated, but we should see this occur, and then we should see this here get a bit more complicated here as well before pushing up here and then having some sort of ABC back again and then up at this point, something of this nature. I suppose I could run it. No, so this is the best way to run it. Yeah, so this is correct. So we'll be looking for wave 3 over there, 4 and 5 and yada yada yada. So basically, just to hold along really. I don't know how far that's going to pull back. It could pull back 50-60%. We'll just have a look at it when it occurs, but there's still a long way to go. It's not going to move very far getting into this old high over here. This is GDX, of course. But gold will be pretty much the same as well. So this is, I'll have a look at gold on the our other chart, but you can put wave 4 over here, or you can have wave 4 here. The reason I'm having wave 4 here in this particular chart is because this would line up with GDX. Now this here is a wave 1 here, is debatable, I get it. But if I was going to line up with GDX, which is really sort of lining GDX up with spot gold, so I'm just using it in reverse though, but 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 up here for 1 and 2. You with me? Now our other way to look at this is Sammy has got this as wave 3 over here with an A, B, C, D and E over here for a wave 4. So we could just have a look at that, because it's a good count, and he's probably right and I'm probably wrong. Let's just grab this here and just bear with me a second. So we just want to have a look at gold, because he's done such a good job on this chart. So on the daily chart here, we've got 3 over here with an A and a B and a C and a D and an E over here. I mean, it looks right, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? You'll still come to pretty much the same conclusion of coming up here. It'll just be a little bit different at that point. But that's, I'm heading up for I'm using this as wave 1 here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to get wave 1 over here, the same as GDX, because GDX to me is pretty clear cut at this point, but we'll see. I always say that it's good to have 2 counts because it makes you think it out a bit more, and it makes us look at the risk in any sort of pullbacks, you know, not fall asleep at the wheel. That said, I'm just going to go and have a look at spot gold in here because I've been working it here. So I've got it as 1 and 2 here and then 1 and 2 here, but I may need to to change that and have it over here, having this whole wave 1 over here. It doesn't really matter at this point. I'm going to leave the stop. I'm not going to bring the stop anywhere near the game over here, near us where we're going to be, taken out. We've got to get past this wave 1 and 2 here at least, And I'll just have a look at silver while we're here as well. So silver from the low here, moving to the upside here. We've had this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2. That hasn't changed. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extension in the fifth wave here, which is interesting. And extension in this fifth wave here too. So we could get an extension in this fifth wave too. So 3, 4, 5 for 3 and 4. I wasn't sure to put wave 4 here or here. I just don't. Spikes just sort of annoy me really. But I mean, anyway. 5 of 3 here, then an ABC for wave 4 here. I hope it's that simple, and 1 and 2 here hopefully, and we'll push up here for 3, 4, 5 up here. So should be pretty straightforward at this stage in moving up here. So 3, 4 coming across the tops here really, all of that, and then 5 here, and then some sort of A, B and C at this point, probably something like this. There's going to be plenty of support in this, area here, I'd imagine. Anyway, we'll get to that. But that gives you a bit of a mud map to what's going on at this point. So we'll definitely be looking to build into this trend over here for gold and silver, even though we're long in these markets already. Rightio, so that's that, and then we want to have a look at, this is where I'm just going to use our analyst chart, and I'm just going to have a look at, well, not just yet, we're going to have a look at copper. So with copper here, we've got this daily chart. We're looking for, in this bigger picture here, sorry, wave 3 with an A and a B and a C over here, and looking at this as 5 waves down here. I can actually count this as 3 waves down, so we'll just see how this goes here. But this sharp move here makes it look like it's bullish, but A waves are normally quite sharp. I mean, obviously there will be a lot of short covering going on in those sorts of things, and so that's that. And then this is the daily chart here, and this is the 4-hour chart. So the A, the B and the C wave up here. It's just that I can count this also down as an ABC, but I won't go into that yet. When we get over here, I'll start looking at that being a bullish move at that point. But in the meantime, this is a good count, and we'll just stay with this. And uranium. So with the uranium here on the daily chart here, so he's got it as a wave C here. I've also got this as a wave 1 over here with an ABC coming back for wave 2 here. So I'm a little bit bullish on this one. But in the meantime, it doesn't matter. It's still, we need to go through this ABC pattern here. Okay, so this is where we are with this at the moment. So we're in this ABC pattern, so there's nothing really to do at this particular stage. And then we'll come over and have a look at crude oil. So with crude oil, I normally use my own little chart for this. We're looking for a top here for this. So what I want to do here is that this little move down here, we'll just wait for this, this, and this. Right? Now, if we go beyond this 3-wave move here, then we're going to be bearish at that point, because this will come down here as a wave 3 here. I mean, as a wave 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it could be 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and so on. But once we get past this possibility of being an A, B, C here and going further up, once we've got that, here's a bearish thing, then we'll look over here for the ABC here, and then we'll start to look to go short over this side. So we've got a fair bit to do in here. Be very careful about trading around large numbers in here. They attract large orders, and they can get a bit volatile, and you'll get trapped in here. So just wait for this to play out. Now, somebody's got this as, if I go to the daily chart here, he's got all of this down here as wave 1 and 2 here. and going down for wave 3. So we need to gather evidence for that, okay? So we're not, we'll just move, step by step, increment by increment, wave by wave, level by level, and so on. So I just talked to you then about, we need to verify that we're going to get 5 waves down here first. If that is the case, then we'll look to go short, okay? So we're not there yet. So we need this first impulse wave to tell us that if we get an impulse in the opposite direction of the previous trend, that means we'll get another impulse wave down here. Over to the natural gas, and with natural gas here, somebody's got it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and going up for wave 5. So he's looking for a low in here, and just going to the 4-hour chart. Let me just check on this. That would be, could look at that as 1, and that'd be 1, 2. Look at it, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that can be the low there. But as always, we need to prove that we're getting an impulse wave off this low here, and we don't really have that just yet. So that's something that we'll be looking for. And if that is the case, then we'll look for long trades on that. Alrighty, well, that kind of covers it. The only other thing that I wanted to mention as well, in the for Bitcoin here, in the chat module here for Trading Lounge, I won't bring it up, but in this chat module here, in the crypto section there, somebody's going to start working some crypto trades in there. So he's going to cover Bitcoin on a daily basis, on an intraday basis, and we're also going to look for trades in any of the crypto markets or trade setups. So there's going to be a fair bit of activity for crypto in this, and of course we're going to keep. And we'll put the trades in the crypto check here, but at the same time as well, we'll be, Kitty Pond will still continue to put charts in here. It's just that I want to make the crypto a little bit more active and look for more trades. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.